Hello, I'm Dr. Mitchell Schwartz, and I'm a board-certified dermatologist, and I've been in the private practice of dermatology for over 40 years. The purpose of this video is to explain to you the concept behind microchanneling. Microchanneling is a term that we've coined and developed here at Procell Therapies. The important point now is that longer is truly not better in this scenario. The reason our shorter tips work better than the longer tips is that the stratum corneum is only typically about 0.13 millimeters in depth in the face. So that if you can go beneath that, then that's the barrier layer of the skin. Anything you get beyond that will then penetrate below the surface of the epidermis and get into living tissue and have a much greater effect. So that's really the key. The shorter size tips, specifically 0.25 millimeters, gives you the advantage of creating a channel that now will go deeper than the stratum corneum, and then whatever you put topically will be very effective. Ideally, our new solutions, which are made from recombinant DNA growth factors, can be incredibly effective to get through those small channels. The secret is the smaller channels don't create tissue edema. Tissue edema occurs very quickly with the longer tips. The secret behind the penetration of our serums is that the shorter tips, which measure 0.25 millimeters, do not go that deeply to stimulate an inflammatory response, which causes tissue edema. The longer tips go deeper, and therefore they cause a lot of fluid to accumulate and will actually block the effect of the solutions that you then put on the surface of the skin. And this has been proven in many, many studies that we can provide for you if you have questions. And these are done by independent research organizations all over the world over many years' time. Because of that, the estheticians have a huge advantage by sticking to just the smaller size tips, specifically the 0.25. And those people that tell you longer is better, it's not true, simply because some offices are allowed to use the longer tips than others, but that's just their own selling point. That's not based in science and in reality. Our tips are specifically designed so they can only penetrate to a certain depth into the tissue. Therefore, a 0.25 millimeter tip can only go 0.25 millimeters and has a positive stopping surface. No matter how hard or gently you press, you'll get the same depth of penetration. And that's key. It's not like other devices that have dial controls where you can just dial deeper depths of penetration and therefore be using something that really shouldn't be used for any particular purposes, but I believe it makes it much safer and even more advantageous for an esthetician to be able to say, yes, this is the depth and we can guarantee that's exactly how far this treatment will go. For those that are interested in the research, I'd be happy to provide references that were double-blind controls that specifically showed that the shorter tips were more effective than longer. In fact, in major dermatology journals, there was just recently a study showing that the 0.5 millimeter tip was optimal for penetration. The 0.25 millimeter tip came in a close second place, and the 1.5 and the 1.0 millimeter tips were far behind. So they clearly demonstrated that there's a real advantage to using the shorter tips to optimize penetration of the medication you're putting on the surface of the skin. This is super important when you look at the hair because hair follicles are really deep under the skin that wouldn't be reached by any length tip pretty much, certainly without causing an enormous amount of pain. And it's been shown actually that shorter tips work better for stimulating new hair growth. And the reason again is because the cytokines and growth factors that we have are specific to stimulate the new hair growth. And if you just rely on the tip reaching down deep into the skin to somehow magically make the hair grow, that's not going to work because then the serum you put on the surface won't penetrate nearly as well as using a shorter tip. So that's the secret behind why shorter tips actually work and why the microchanneling technique is exactly what it's cracked up to be.